I'm videoing.
In the air, yeah, I feel it. You better believe it. When I low, yeah, we going high. Gotta climb to the top, but we're never gonna stop. When I low, yeah, we going high. We're going high. We're going high. We're going high. Yeah, 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 yeah. In the air, yeah, I feel it.
What's up, guys? So today's gonna be a little bit different of a video. I bought this fly rod around Christmas because I've really been interested in learning how to fly fish. I've never put this rod together. I've never casted a fly rod. I've never done anything like that. So today I'm going to try and teach myself how to cast a fly rod. I've never done anything like that before. I've never even, like, this is the first time this rod's ever been put together. And I've never really, like, watched fly fishing or anything. Like, I watch the Hush guys do it, but that's, like, the total extent of my fly fishing knowledge. I don't know what I'm doing in the slightest, not even a little bit. I know I'm supposed to, like, stretch the line, I think. That's it. So I'm gonna string up my rod, and I brought a little, I didn't even bring a fly with me. It's like a weedless hook on a soft plastic bait because I don't want it getting snagged on everything while I'm trying to cast. But I've never done anything like this before, so this is totally completely new stuff to me. But I'm excited because fly fishing sounds really fun to me. If I could ever get the line put onto my pole. So this is the little fly that I brought to tie on. I don't know if more weight is better or worse or what you're supposed to use, but all I know is this is weedless and it's not going to get snagged on the snow and cement, hopefully, as much. But see, that's it. I finally got it tied on and strung up on my rod. So I guess I just try and cast it now. I don't know. I can see the line starting to, like, whip back and forth, but it's definitely, like, tangled. This should be fun. So I experienced my first tangle, which I've heard is going to happen a whole lot, but I was surprised. That seemed semi-promising for my first really attempts at casting a fly rod, but it's like all knotted up. I'll untangle it and then try again. I finally got the tangle out. That was probably 5 minutes worth of trying to untangle that. I guess I should put some pressure on this. But my limited knowledge, I heard a guy on YouTube one time say that to cast a fly rod, you have to imagine that there's like a big barn door behind you, and you pull your arm back and you slap that barn door at like 11 o'clock, and then you go forward. So we're gonna go back and forward, and it already tangled, I think. Oh, hey, look, I'm kind of getting the hang of it. Heck yeah, that was better. Hey, I'm starting to get a hang of it, actually. I don't know if you guys can see that in front of me, but I'm actually starting to back and forward and back and forward, back and forward. And look, it's kind of out there a little bit now. I'm sure you got to strip out more line if you want it to go farther. Oh, that was a tangle. Yep. Oh, no, I untangled it. Oh, yeah, it's tangled now. This is fun. How do you even, when you're casting, how do you even tie a legitimate knot in your line? How does that work? This was truly knotted. Like, how does that even happen? It's untangled again, so I'm gonna try giving her some casts again. Back and forward, back and forward, back and forward, back and forward, back. Tangled again. I feel like I've got the whipping part down. I've got to figure out how to get the part where you let go and your line goes, because I feel like that's when I'm running into my troubles. And I've been tying like a ton of flies by myself for when I actually like get kind of good at this. So if that's, I feel like that'd make a cool video to start trying to tie some flies. So I'm definitely gonna do that sometime soon. I'll start making fly tying videos. Again, it didn't go anywhere. Hey, that one was a little better. I've seen a guy do like a bow and arrow cast. I want to see how that works. Says you like grab your fly or whatever you're throwing out there for the fish. He says it's like for close quarters. You like pull it back like a bow and whip it out there. So I'm gonna give a little. Hey, that could work for when I can't figure out how to get this fly cast down. You kind of just whoosh, and your fly kind of goes out there a little bit. No, but I'm gonna get this down. It's just a matter of when. So I spent about another 5 minutes off camera practicing this. I'm actually starting to get kind of decent, like. Really watching my back casts has really helped a lot. Because when I watch those back casts, I can actually start to see my line like make that nice loop. And when it starts to make that nice loop, I can stop and come forward and really start to get my line out there. And it's kind of just a that one I went too far back on. And sure, I'm not casting it like 70 yards, but if I was sitting here at a little stream, I feel like I could get that right there and start stripping line. Strip, 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 strip. Big fish. Just caught the biggest fish in the stream, you know, because basically I'm now the world's greatest fly fisherman. So I'm aiming for the GoPro. That's where I want all of my casts to start hitting. This is so cool. Gosh, now I'm really wishing I would have brought one of my flies so I could see if I could cast with a real fly. Because that's awesome. And that thing's so heavy. It's probably like a quarter ounce. I could probably cast out with the spinning combo. But I really want to know now if I could like cast with one of those tiny little dry flies. I'm going to do that tomorrow. But right now I'm going to go home. I'm going to tie a fly. Maybe I'll tie a fly and maybe I'll get it on video, but I'm not a genius at fly tying at all. No way. But I feel like I've done some pretty cool ones. Like I've tied a couple like rockworm larvas or the pheasant tail nymphs. And I've tried tying a couple of like big trout streamers. And they look cool, but are they gonna catch fish? Probably not. I've been tying a buttload of flies. and it's been so fun. And I don't know if any of them are gonna work at all, but getting that okay at this that fast really gives me hope that I'm actually gonna be halfway decent at fly fishing. So I just got home and I think I'm gonna tie a little like pheasant tail nymph. I don't have any like beads or anything for the heads. I'm just gonna tie like a little pheasant tail nymph with like maybe some red accents or something, but just a simple fly to start with, you know, because they're hard. They're really hard to do. So if I can just start with a little pheasant tail nymph, and one day I'm gonna do a story tell video about all of this stuff. This is my little wall that I have. That's my archery antelope. That's my archery deer. That's my first deer, my first shed, first set. So I'm gonna do a little story time with all of that. This is all like this is from the Hunt Expo from Cam Haynes, and I have some Zach Griffith ones. And me and my girlfriend and Eva Shockey. And these are from the school that I volunteered at. Those are cool stories. I'm gonna do stories about those too. But I'll do a story time one of these days about this stuff. But I'm gonna get my stuff set up. I'm gonna go tie some flies. A fly, maybe more. But these are all of the flies I've tied so far. Minus a couple of them. A couple of them were little Christmas gifts. Let me turn the light on. But some of these are really cool, and I'm actually like fairly proud of them. Like this little, it's like a little rockworm larva thing, and my first parachute Adams. And this one's gonna be really cool. I found this twisted goose quill feather. It's really twisted, and I figured it might work as like one of those blade baits that you use for like bass fishing, where they catch the water and they go like this and they like turn. So I figured if I could like strip that underwater, because it has a lead wire weight in it, if I strip that underwater, it'll have like a really cool wobbling effect, and I feel like that could bring in more fish. And then I have like these little, this is like a cutthroat streamer. It has the orange slits at the top, 2 hooks, it's articulated, and these back hackle feathers are directed in opposite directions, so they look like a fin in the water. And there's my dog. Oh, she just loves the attention. I just go home and she's upset that I'm not giving her attention. But yeah, I'm gonna tie some. I love tying flies, so I'm gonna tie one on video for you guys. So I'm gonna start out with first I'm tying a pheasant tail nymph, and I'm probably gonna do something a little different next, but I'm gonna start out with these Gunnison River. It's a size 12 hook. I'm gonna start out with that. And by no means am I an expert at tying flies. I'm just doing it myself, and I learned it all by myself. But I'm gonna start with that, and I'm gonna do a couple wraps of .025 lead wire so it sinks. But I'm not gonna do a ton of wraps because I don't want it riding the bottom, but I don't want it to be on top of the water either. I want it to sit kind of in just the very middle of the water column. This is always the hardest part, is trying to thread this lead wire through the bobbin. Because it's so much easier when you do it on the bobbin, not bottom. But just a couple wraps with this. Yeah, it looks good. Just pinch it off and then wrap up that tag end. Spool this back in. And I want to start, I'm gonna use this olivey color. I might use chartreuse on the next fly that I tie, or a brown. I've never used this brown thread that I got actually, But I like this olive. It's just a good natural color. And I've heard natural is better for fly tying. You don't want to get too like extravagant with your colors. Just a good natural color. I'm gonna start it right behind that lead wrap and kind of make a thread dam with it so that wrap doesn't move backwards. I'm gonna try and not build up too much around the eye of the hook. Then I'm gonna trim this tag end like that. And I keep all my stuff in little baggies. I'm gonna pull out my pheasant feather. And for tails, I don't know why. I always think it looks better to use these like the bar side rather than this like speckled side. I'm just gonna do, I don't know, 4 fibers look good to me. I'm gonna measure it out. I don't want my tail to be too long. That looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna start with loose wrap so it doesn't twirl on me. And then I'll cinch it down. I'm gonna cut off these tag ends, but I'm gonna save them to use later, because those tags can sometimes turn out to look like pretty cool little legs. I'm just doing a couple wraps around this lead to hide it better. And then for the like abdomen of the fly, I'm using peacock herl, which is basically my #1 enemy. I can never get this stuff to turn out the way I want it to. I don't know why. I'm bad with the peacock stuff. It always breaks on me. And it always breaks at like the worst possible time. And like right now it's trying to pull out of the thread that I just tied it down with. There we go. I'm just gonna give a couple wraps. I don't want to get that far forward with it. And see, look, it already unwrapped on me. But this is like building the thorax of our fly. Just trying to avoid leaving any of that thread exposed. I'm just trying to build it down in a taper. Don't trap those tail fibers. And I'm going to bring it back up and give a couple wraps with my thread. Oh boy. See, I hate peacock herl. Just give a couple thread wraps like that. Then trim off my tag end. And I'm going to take my little tag from the pheasant earlier, and I'm going to cut off the white fibers at the end. And I'll lay them right on top, about like that. Ugh. And as you cinch them down, they kind of splay out like that and make kind of a nice little wing formation. And then I don't know how to whip finish. I've watched so many videos of it on YouTube of how to do it with my fingers, and I cannot figure it out, so I just do this stupid little knot, and then I just go get the super glue and super glue it down. But that's the first fly. It's just a little itty bitty little pheasant tail nymph. It looks super basic because it is. It's one of the most basic flies that you can tie, but apparently they're pretty effective. So I'm gonna go get the super glue and then I'm gonna tie another. I don't know why, but the video file corrupted while I was tying this fly, but I think it looks pretty cool. It's got 2 Godwell feathers acting like little paddles on the sides, I would say. And then it's mule deer hair with a ton of lead weight wrapped into it. So it's going to be a fast sinking bottom feeding fly. But it looks really cool, and I'm actually really hopeful. I think it's going to work really good. It's hefty, but it's not super heavy either. But I'm excited about that. That looks good. So I'm gonna go take my bow out, and I put a strap for my GoPro, well, not a strap, a mount for my GoPro on it. But I really want to start, I want to try and get a archery rabbit hunt this year. That's something that I really want to do. So I'm gonna put my felt tips on my arrows. I'm gonna put my field tips on my arrows and go sight in at 5, 10, 15 yards. Move my pins a little bit, but I shoot Ramcat 100 grains. These ones right here. And I love them. They really do some damage. And these little Muzzy trail cars I use for like coyotes or prairie dogs or something. Like if I just see something while I'm hunting that I want to shoot, I'll pull out one of the arrows that have my trail cars on them. I think that's what these are. I don't even know if they're trail cars. I know they're Muzzies. They're from Walmart. They're the first broadheads I ever bought. I actually hunted my first archery season with those, and I missed a buck, which, really cool story. When I do this story wall, you'll get to hear that whole story, but that is still one of my most memorable experiences, was that first archery hunt that I ever did. That kind of saved hunting for me. It made it just be it. Archery became my everything after that, and I wasn't really super into rifle hunting. Like, it was just, I shot my first rifle deer and I was like, well, this is kind of easy. I didn't know that this is what hunting was. I was kind of disappointed with it. And then I saved up money and I bought my first bow, which is this PSE brute force. And I hunted that first year. I didn't get a deer, but I absolutely fell in love with bow hunting after that. And now I've been bow hunting for 3 years. I've shot one deer. I've had multiple opportunities. I've missed one deer my whole life. I've only taken 2 shots at deer before, but I've missed one deer. It was my first year hunting. And then I shot the little 3-point that's on the wall up there in 2018. That was my second year bow hunting. And that's a really cool story on that deer. And then this last year, I didn't miss any shots at deer. I messed up an opportunity on a 4-point opening morning. But I was also focused on hunting antelope, so I didn't spend much time deer hunting, but next year we're going to spend a lot of time deer hunting, and hopefully I'll get something. I got my GoPro strapped onto my bow, and I want to see where my pins are, like height-wise, how they shoot at shorter yardages. I have my 20 pin as my closest pin, but I think we're at like 10 yards right now. Yeah, we're at exactly 10 yards. I want to see what my 20 pin looks like at 10 yards. Looks pretty dead on to me, actually. I guess 10 yards doesn't make much of a difference. It's maybe like 3 inches high, I think. Yeah.